Portugal's about to walk into the most prepared defensive trap of Cristiano Ronaldo's entire career, and you have no idea it's happening. This is the 2026 World Cup qualifying match, and what you're about to witness is the collision between everything Portugal believes about themselves and a defensive intelligence they completely failed to see coming. By the end of this breakdown, you'll understand something the entire betting market is still sleeping on. DR Congo isn't just competitive here, they're built specifically to break Portugal's system, and they might actually do it. Here's what everyone believes about this match. Portugal is superior. Obviously, they have Ronaldo, they have Bruno Fernandes, they have Bernardo Silva, they have $500 million of European pedigree, Champions League experience, and a decade of dominance at the international level. DR Congo is the overmatched underdog. They show up, they try their best, and in 90 minutes, Portugal wins 2-0 or 3-1, and the narrative writes itself. Clean, predictable, forgettable. That belief is incomplete. And here's why. DR Congo doesn't have better players than Portugal. That's not the argument. The argument is something much more dangerous. DR Congo has built a defensive structure specifically engineered to nullify the exact type of attack Portugal runs. And they did it by convincing two Premier League defenders to come home. Wan-Bissaka and Tuanzebe aren't just playing in this match. They're the evidence that international football is about to shift. These aren't national team experiments. These are established professionals at the highest level of club football, and they're bringing that intelligence directly to DR Congo's defense. You need to understand what that actually means, because this changes everything about how you should think about this match. Now here's where it gets dangerous for Portugal. Wan-Bissaka has spent 7 years in the Premier League learning one single skill: how to eliminate space before elite attackers even realize it's gone. That's not hyperbole. That's his entire game. Watch him against Vinicius Jr. when Vinicius was absolutely unplayable. Watch him against Jadon Sancho at his absolute peak. Watch him against every winger who's tried to beat him in the last 5 seasons. He doesn't wait for them to attack. He reads their movement. He positions himself a half step ahead of where they want to go, and when they get the ball, they're already frustrated before they take their first touch. I'm talking about spatial awareness that most defenders never develop. Wan-Bissaka understands not just where the ball is, but where it's going. He understands momentum. He understands acceleration patterns. He knows that elite attackers need a certain amount of space to build velocity, and his entire job is to deny that space before the attacking player even has the ball. That's a skill. That's learned. And you don't learn it in a training facility. You learn it by defending against the best attackers in the world, week after week, season after season. Now take that skill set and point it directly at Cristiano Ronaldo. And here's what you need to understand. Ronaldo, at 41 years old, is not the Ronaldo of 2015. He's not the player who can make a defender look foolish through pure athleticism. His explosiveness is still elite, but it requires precise conditions. He needs space. He needs momentum. He needs the ball to come to him in a position where he can build acceleration and create separation through velocity. Exactly, and I mean exactly, the things that Wan-Bissaka has spent a career denying to elite attackers. But here's the motivation component that changes everything. When Wan-Bissaka plays for Manchester United, he's a professional doing his job. It's excellent, it's consistent, but it's work. He goes home to his apartment and he's done thinking about football. When he plays for DR Congo, when he defends against Ronaldo in the colors of his country, when his family is watching from Kinshasa, when he's building something that represents his heritage, that's not work. That's legacy. That's the thing that matters. And players at that level play with a different intensity when the stakes are personal. They make better decisions. They anticipate more sharply. They take risks they wouldn't normally take because the outcome means something deeper than a paycheck. If Wan-Bissaka wins this positioning battle, if he keeps Ronaldo frustrated and limited, Portugal loses their primary weapon. Full stop. Everything else, Fernandes, Silva, the possession game, it all gets harder. Because Ronaldo is the player who breaks open tight matches. He's the emergency button. He's the moment where Portugal's quality just overwhelms the opposition. Wan-Bissaka's job is to make sure he never gets the chance to press that button. Now let's talk about what's happening in the middle of the pitch, because this is where the real tactical advantage lives. Axel Tuanzebe spent 4 years at Manchester United. 4 years, not a loan spell, not a youth academy rotation that teaches him nothing. He was training alongside elite midfielders every single day at Carrington, and one of those elite midfielders was Bruno Fernandes. Tuanzebe watched how Fernandes moves. He studied his half-turn preference. He learned the exact pocket of space where Fernandes likes to operate. He defended against this man in training repetitions that probably numbered in the hundreds by now. Think about what that means. When Tuanzebe lines up against Fernandes in this match, it's not theory. It's not guesswork. It's not hoping that Fernandes has an off day. It's 4 years of daily repetition converted into defensive intelligence. Tuanzebe knows when Bruno's about to turn. He knows the angles Bruno prefers. He knows the progression of his movement before Fernandes himself has committed to it. He's defended him in training when Fernandes was trying to break down Manchester United's midfield structure. He's felt how Fernandes accelerates. He understands the timing of his movement patterns. That's the Carrington Advantage. That's what happens when you train against the best for years and then get the chance to defend against that same player when it matters most. This isn't a random defensive assignment. This is a specialist matchup that Portugal has absolutely no counter for. You can't prepare for something when you don't know the advantage your opponent already has, and Portugal has no idea that Tuanzebe has been studying Fernandes like he's a defensive dissertation. Here's the system problem that Portugal doesn't want to acknowledge. Possession doesn't guarantee control, and when you build your entire team identity around dominating the ball, what happens when that domination is systematically removed? Look at Morocco in 2022. I'm not saying DR Congo is Morocco, but I am saying that when elite playmakers lose the freedom to operate, they become less dangerous. Their decision-making slows down. Their creativity gets strangled. Portugal has never really had to solve this problem because they're always the team with the best possession stats. They're always the team controlling the game. But what happens when that control is taken away? DR Congo's midfield is built to shadow. Noah Sadiki is assigned to Fernandes' movement. He's not aggressive pressing that leaves space behind. He's constant, intelligent monitoring. Every time Bruno finds space, Sadiki finds him. Every time he looks for a pocket, that pocket is occupied. It's not flashy. It's not the kind of defending that gets clips on Twitter. But it's the kind that drives playmakers insane because it denies them the one commodity they need: freedom. Freedom to think, freedom to turn, freedom to execute at the speed where they're most dangerous. Bernardo Silva is the wild card, because Silva is the most technically pure player on the Portuguese side, and when space compresses, he finds angles that shouldn't exist. He dribbles past defenders in spaces that are supposedly closed. But Tuanzebe has faced this for years. He's literally faced this player in training, and he knows that Silva's game requires one thing: time to turn. Give him time to turn and he's gone. Deny him time to turn and he's just another body on the pitch. That's the assignment. That's the job. But here's what makes this truly dangerous for Portugal. DR Congo isn't just defensive, they have teeth, they have transition. They have Bakambu's movement from deep, the kind of intelligent off-ball running that creates space for counters. They have Wan-Bissaka's pace on the flanks, genuine explosive pace that Portugal's fullbacks are going to have to respect. And when Portugal loses the ball, and they will lose the ball because DR Congo is going to force it through their pressing and shadowing, they have the ability to hurt Portugal in wide areas through direct, quick counter-attacking football. This isn't about sitting back and hoping for penalties. DR Congo scores in this match. They're dangerous on the break. They have the specific tools to make Portugal's defense uncomfortable in the exact same way Portugal is making theirs uncomfortable. That's the part nobody's talking about. Watch the first 30 minutes. Specifically, watch how DR Congo's defensive shape adjusts in the opening Portugal possession sequence. Are they staying in a mid-block, or are they pressing high? That tells you everything. A disciplined mid-block means DR Congo is comfortable absorbing pressure and hitting on transitions. They're patient. They're willing to let Portugal have the ball and break them on the counter. A high press means they're trying to disrupt play early, force mistakes, prevent Portugal from settling into rhythm. Within 3 minutes of the match starting, you'll know which match you're actually watching, and that changes how you read everything that follows. The entire tactical narrative shifts based on that decision. My prediction is DR Congo 1-1 with Portugal. And here's why that's credible and not fantasy. Portugal will create chances. Ronaldo will get opportunities. Silva will find moments of brilliance. But the consistency of execution that Portugal needs against a defense this organized, this prepared, this intelligent, it's not guaranteed. And DR Congo's counter-attacking threat is real enough that they convert at least one moment, maybe two. The thing that could go wrong with this prediction is that Portugal is just better. Sometimes that's all it is. Sometimes you have Ronaldo and you score 3 and the tactical nuance becomes irrelevant. Sometimes individual quality overcomes system. But if Portugal only scores once or twice, then we're having a different conversation about what international football actually rewards. We're talking about a fundamental shift in how elite national teams win matches. What this match means for the sport is bigger than the scoreline. This is the moment when international football finally realizes that the smartest teams aren't always the teams with the best players. They're the teams that understand how elite players break down, and they're willing to build a specific system to exploit that. DR Congo is saying, we can compete with you, not through magic, through intelligence, through Premier League experience, through preparation so detailed that your greatest strengths become irrelevant. So here's what I need from you. Subscribe, because you're going to see FIFA 2026 tactical breakdowns that the mainstream completely skips. They're going to talk about superstars. I'm going to tell you how to actually break them down. Comment below with your prediction. What's the scoreline? I want to see who actually watched this entire breakdown and not just the first 30 seconds. I want to see who understood the tactical advantage and who's still just waiting for Ronaldo highlights. My name is David. Everything in this analysis can be checked. Player names, club affiliations, training ground history, it's all verifiable. I'm not speculating. I'm connecting dots that the betting markets haven't connected yet. And when that final whistle blows, you'll either be vindicated or you'll learn something about how football actually works. Because here's the final thing you need to understand. The match that's about to happen isn't what you think it is. It's not a coronation for Portugal. It's a test. And DR Congo built the perfect answer to that test.